We shall now give over to Commissioner Ntuli, the chairperson of the inquiry, to officially open today's proceedings. Over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I would like to welcome you all to the second day of this inquiry by the South African in local municipalities in MPUMALANGA. Today is day 2 of a 5-day inquiry. Yesterday, we began by the Office of the Auditor General and members of various communities in the province. Today, we shall hear from various local municipalities on some of the issues that were raised yesterday, some issues that have been raised prior to yesterday, issues that are historic, issues that are systematic and productive. With that, I welcome you all, and I apologize that we are starting a few minutes late, but I'm sure that we will recover this time. I'd like now to hand over to the provincial manager.
Thanks so much. The panel members we have before this inquiry are as follows. On my far left, we have Professor Berry Rulani Hanyani, who is an associate professor in the Department of Public Administration and Governance with the University of the Northwest. Next to him is Commissioner J.B. Sibanyoni, who is a commissioner having a focus area on farming communities, food and land. Next to him is the chairperson of this inquiry, Commissioner Philile Ntuli, whose focus area is on water and sanitation as well as human settlements. And as indicated by the chair, I'm the head of the Human Rights Commission in MPUMALANGA. On my right is Mr. Thabang Moses Keswa, who is the head of the Human Rights Commission in the Free State Province. I tried to sum up these introductions because the team we have team members have long series. If I were to go into the details, that could take much longer. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Quickly through some housekeeping rules. The first and primary rule is common respect. Is helpful to remember. We are to all respect each other. When someone is speaking, we are all to listen and be quiet. We shall not disturb each other. And if anyone wishes to speak, they will be allowed to speak. That is the primary rule. The second rule related to that pertains to our communication devices. Please switch off your phones if you can, but understanding that because of the coronavirus pandemic, we have a limited number of people in the room. Some of us may need and want to communicate with those who are outside of this room. And therefore, if you do need to keep your cell phone on and your computers on, please keep them on silent and remove them from vibrate because vibrate also does disturb when the phone rings. So that is a rule that we should also try to keep as much as possible. Noting also that we are in the midst of a serious health pandemic. We are at all times to keep our masks on. We are at all times to keep sanitized, and we are at all times to social distance. Those are the main rules which I hope we will all follow in the process of day as well as the rest of the inquiry. Just quickly running through the purpose of this inquiry. The first pertains to our aim as a commission to investigate the drivers and of the deteriorating state of service delivery. We also want the state of service delivery within local municipalities in this province. We want to understand and get to the depths of the impact of previous interventions at local municipalities, particularly in terms of Section 139 of our Constitution. We also want to understand and investigate the extent that various interventions have proved ineffective or effective of such interventions. And therefore, we also want to find out what it is that we can do to arrest. Certainly, also, we want to know what the role of the various actors can be in bringing about change. Following this inquiry, we shall pull together a report that consolidates the proceedings of this week. And with this report will be remedial action and recommendations moving forward. This is not a talk shop. We do seek to bring about meaningful and tangible change moving from this inquiry. With that, I'd like to welcome all of you to this inquiry, and I'd like to remind us all that this is not an adversarial inquiry. Our approach is one that seeks common understanding, collaborative work, and our main focus is not on individual failures, but it is on the people of South Africa and the people who deserve to have their constitutional rights met by the institutions which are established to do so. With that, I welcome you and I thank you very much. Now I will give over to Commissioner Sibanyoni to administer the oath of affirmation for our first speaker or presenter. And with that, I'd like to welcome representative from Lekwa local municipality to take their position next to the panel table. The representative from Lekwa local municipality may approach. Thank you. Over to you, Commissioner Sibanyoni.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner Ntuli, Chairperson of the inquiry. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you, there are two ways of administering an oath, is either an oath, or if a person has got an objection towards taking the oath, then it will be an affirmation. May I know from you whether do you prefer to take an oath or to take an affirmation?
An oath is fine.
Right. For record purpose, can you please state your full names and surname, please?
My name is Johnny Usweu Mokhatsi.
Right. Do you swear that the evidence that you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If that is the case, then raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Julie sworn in, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Spagnoni. Welcome, sir. You shall have 25 minutes to make your presentation. Thereafter, the panel will have approximately the same time to engage with your presentation through questions and comments. It is now 9:23 and the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to members as well. All protocol observed. As stated, my name is Johnny Mokhatsi. I'm the acting municipal manager at Lekwa Municipality. I first need to register the apology of the administrator, Mr. J. Metler. As Lekwa Municipality is under national intervention, he unfortunately could not join this meeting due to the fact that we have National Treasury on site as well and requested me to attend the hearing. As stated, Lekwa is under administration, which is a national administration, wherein there's an administrator who is Mr. J. Metler. I'm part of the intervention team as an acting municipal manager appointed together with the administrator. We have submitted based questions that we received, information to the commission, which I'll quickly go through. But along the way as well, I'll also indicate as intervention, how far are we with addressing some of the issues that has been raised. Also at the end of the session, there's a presentation that I'll send through to the commission for further perusal. Lekwa Municipality, as stated, is one of the 7 municipalities. It's a category B municipality.
Party, so that we are all together. There's a bundle in front of you, of which will include your submission, bundle B, and the presentation is on from pages 153. So if you can refer to the numbering on the bundle so that the panel can follow your evidence to the extent that you'll be referring to your written submissions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll do that. I'm on page 153. The responses, as I said, was sent per this letter. I'm on item 2, which gives the locality and list of towns within the municipality. I won't go in details. I'll summarize it. As I've indicated that Lekwa, it's one of the 7 municipalities in Hartsibanda District Municipality in the MPUMALANGA province. The details are given in terms of the actual area where the municipality is situated. I can confirm that as per number 2. If you continue on page 154, I will take the commission through the current status quo of access to basic services, which is the first table on page 154. It refers to water, electricity, and refuse removal. The number of household that we have, it's 37,334, and those without access to water is 3,599. Sanitation, those without access, it's 5,016, and electricity, those without access is 3,330. Refuse removals, those where the municipality is not able to remove refuse, is 16,193. So that is basically the status quo in terms of access to basic services. The next table is the status quo on the current capacity against the demand on infrastructure. We're starting with water. The current capacity is 39.2 megaliters, and the current demand that we have as a municipality is 42, which shows that there's already an exceeding in terms of what the municipality could offer. And the desired in terms of the plans of 2030, it's 46. That is in standard 10. And then same to sanitation, the capacity is 9.2, and the current demand is 18 to 20 megaliters. Also, it shows that there is a problem in terms of affording or giving people the services that require in terms of sanitation. With regard to electricity, which is one of the main challenges that we have as a municipality, currently our notified maximum demand is 55 MVA, and the current demand is in the region of 67 to 80 MVA. As a result, we are exceeding our notified maximum demand, especially in the winter period as the municipality. With regard to water in Morrison, which excludes Standard 10 and Sakile, the capacity there we find in terms of the supply. With regard to sanitation, the current capacity is 0.9, and the current demand is 3 megaliters. So there is shortage as well as far as that is concerned, which is what is faced with at the municipality. Just going into details on page 155, in Sakile Township, there's inconsistent water supply to high-lying area because, as we are all aware, that as I can indicate that there is a lot of water leakages that we're experiencing as the municipality. But however, on a daily basis, we try and make sure that in those areas which are affected where there's no water, we supply water, at least with the trucks that we have. One can confirm that the water quality is acceptable, and tests are done frequently around the tot. Although in the recent few days we had challenges whereby the municipality did not tests are done frequently around the tot. Although in the recent few days we had challenges whereby the municipality did not clean the fire hydrants, and as a result, clean the fire hydrants, and as a result, there were some areas in the municipality which experienced brown or dirty water, which came from the hydrant that the municipality was not cleaning. Then in extension 6, 7, and 8, it's a similar process that we're experiencing in terms of water supply. All these areas are high-lying, and we do have a situation whereby, as I've mentioned, that in those areas, due to the fact that one, we've got a number of leakages that we have, which affect the pressure. Therefore, the water cannot reach all the services. Some community even complain that they can only get water in their taps in the night when it's quiet. I can also mention that due to the fact that it's summer now, we do have water challenges as everybody is using water and we need to water and refresh. So at the moment, one of the biggest challenges that we have as the municipality is water-related challenges, wherein we can't reach all areas. So more or less in Morrison, which is number 5, the water supply is consistent. And also there we can confirm that the water quality is good. But however, as we go on, when we speak about okay, I'll address it under the treatment works. On page 156, the water supply still in those areas. The water supply is in Standerton water treatment is supplied through the water pipes. And as I've indicated that we do have a challenge whereby the municipality was consistently not maintaining the fire hydrant, which resulted in some areas in the municipality receiving brown dirty or brown water. But also, as we indicated, the design capacity of the Standerton water treatment plant is 37 megaliters per day. And of course, the demand that we are experiencing currently is a bit higher than what we can supply as the municipality. Again, on that page, on 156, column number 3, rural wards, which is 9, 12, and 13, the water supply is supplied through boreholes, windmills, and hand pipes. And there as well, there is a challenge that we're experiencing of maintenance of those windmills and boreholes that is not done timelessly by the municipality, of course, due to the financial challenges that we have as the municipality. As the municipality.
10 minutes has passed.
Okay. The sanitation, as I've indicated, in the sewer, we do have challenges of sewer. We've got a lot of sewer spillages in the municipality due to the fact that some of the pipes that the municipality had, it's asbestos pipes that need to be replaced. And there's a challenge of the sewer network in the township resulting in sewer spillages, and there are no sewer pump stations in some of the areas of the municipality, which is one area that we are looking at, and we have engineers on site who are doing an assessment in terms of trying to ensure and identify exactly what is the problem that we have as the municipality. As I indicated, the age infrastructure results in sewer spillages, and it needs to be replaced. We do have business plans that we have submitted for MIC. We also currently looking at submission of submission we made to Cocktail National Treasury, where we want to repurpose the current MIG or grants that we have, due to the fact that currently the main challenges that we are having as a municipality is the sewer spillages, is the water leaks, and what spillages do affect the rivers that we have. So one of the interventions that we are coming up with, which we have tabled to National Treasury, is to repurpose or to relook or make an application for the repurpose of the big allocations that we have to try and address the immediate needs that are there currently around water and sewer. We also have on page 157, number 3, it also refers to VIP toilets, which are on those rural wards as well. The maintenance and or dislodging of those VIP toilets as well. It is something that is a challenge to the municipality. However, we have so far purchased a honeysuckle truck that we are deploying in all those areas that in order to maintain or to suck those VIP toilets that we have on various wards that we have in the municipality. Maybe to step off from water and sewer, just get into electricity. I can confirm that one of the areas of the current intervention is caused by the lack of electricity. You might have been informed that during winter, when there was no ESCOM load shedding, as Lekwa municipality, we also had our own load shedding due to the fact that the municipality was not able to pay the previous account of ESCOM, and ESCOM went further to throttle the supply of electricity. So therefore, we had to now manage internally electricity within the municipality. And as a result, there was, or to avoid overloading on the network, cable faults, and so forth and so on. But however, I can confirm that there are discussions with ESCOM on this matter, because all electricity-related challenges that we have as the municipality comes as a result of the notified maximum demand that has been reduced to 55 million. So we are discussing with ESCOM to review that. We've made applications, we have received a response. But however, due to the fact that we are having financial challenges as a municipality, we are not able to timelessly, and when it falls due, to pay our current account, which is the matter that ESCOM said, let us address this matter first. Then all other projects that are related to electricity will be sorted out. And as a result, this is affecting the farming community, it's affecting the town, businesses in the town, and it's affecting the municipality at large. But however, we have also noted that as a municipality as well, there's work that we need to do as far as metering what we give to the people. We have identified that the metering section of the municipality need to be looked into, which is what is mentioned on that page on 158. Quickly, the measures that we have taken, some of them have addressed them. Some of them have addressed them with regard to the treatment work. We are engaging currently with COCTA, where we are repairing the filters and the water treatment works, so that at least the quality that we have, we maintain that quality. There's also a project on the refurbishment and upgrade of the Standard waste treatment works. It's a multi-year project, and we are out on tender on this project. And installation of water meters on informal settlement. We have about 25 standpipes installed and 5 communal stands in various of those priority identified with the municipality. And then with regard to electrification, Sasol electrification up project is on, wherein there's some amount of 7.1 million to look at, especially it's going to address the power outages that I spoke about, and the affected wards are also listed on page 158 at the bottom. On page 159 as well, there's a construction of booster pumps, especially in the area called Rekopen, where we're experiencing a lot of spillages in that area. And of course, one of the other projects that we'll be looking at in the rural area is to electrify 500 RDP houses. For this financial, for the financial year, these were the projects that were done, and also there's the extent to which the measures were able to address the challenges that I've already mentioned to, as listed on page on table 2 on page 159. Then continuing on page 150, it's the new projects that will be implementing as the municipality, the refurbishment and upgrading of the Standerton water treatment works, and progress is given, and the extent to address the measures is also summarized. The Standerton treatment works, the Morrison water supply, and the upgrade of sewer pump station in those affected streets that are listed on page 160. And furthermore, on page 151 is also the further to conclude with to continue with the installation of VIP toilets and provision of chemicals for VIPs that we have, and a number of, or the extent is also summarized in terms of a number of VIP toilets that we want to address. Furthermore, there's funding that we have from INEP to address electricity challenges that we have, especially on, if you look on page 161, project number 8, construction of a switch station at Standerton Extension 8, and the design of electrification of rural houses, as in those what that I've said or indicated earlier. Women resources capacity, I must say that one of the area of the current intervention is to look at organizational design, to look whether the organogram of the municipality is fit for purpose. It's one of the intervention activities that the administrator is busy with, but however, the numbers are given in terms of the capacities that we have as a municipality on page 162. And on page 163, we giving stats in terms of the financial year, as was requested. For the sake of time, I'm not going to get into the details, but however, all I need to indicate is that on number E, measures taken by the municipality for the past 3 years is the implementation of the revenue enhancement strategy, the implementation of the financial recovery plan, which Treasury is assisting us in developing that. The plan has been concluded. The draft is out for comments. In due course, it will be finalized. But however, we have started to implement what is contained in the financial recovery plan as part
20
of
minutes has
the
passed.
intervention. I must indicate that on the financial matters, maybe going to page 164, there's a table there from which summarizes the audit outcomes of the municipality, which we're not looking good as a municipality. For the past 3 years, we have received disclaimers, and we are putting measures in place to address the disclaimers that we have. And of course, one of the other critical area on page 164, the last table, it indicates for the past 3 years, the extent of the unauthorized expenditure, the irregular expenditure, the fruitless and wasteful expenditure. There's measures placed or measures that we are implementing as part of the intervention, wherein, as highlighted also on the section 106 that was done by the province, to say there's certain measures that must be taken against those who are involved. As part of this administration, it's one of the terms of reference that we should get into that, get information, assess, and where appropriate, disciplinary action must be taken by the administrator. On page 165, which regard to the adverse or the audit opinion that we have received, as I've indicated, one of the areas that we are busy with is to review the finance organogram, to conduct a skills audit, develop a capacity building program, review the standard operating procedures in the municipality, and of course, one of the major element that led to the municipality to the disclaimer for the previous 3 years is that there's a lack of fixed asset register that we need to put together. And of course, also what we noted is that previously what was said to be actions that need to be implemented on the audit action plan, they were not being done, and therefore, as this administration, we are focusing on that. What we did in addition was to also form a project steering committee that meets on a weekly basis to look at the finances of the municipality, also to look at the cash flow of the municipality. In addition, what we are doing is also to review the contract register of the municipality in order to ensure that service providers that are said to be owed by the municipality, indeed, they were contracts, and further to assess whether such contracts were acquired through the supply chain processes that are in the law. Just quickly, one project that we are also busy with to try and turn around the financial position of the municipality, it's a revenue and data collection or data cleansing, wherein we are looking at the billing information of the municipality, because we have received numerous complaints from consumers who are not comfortable to pay the bills from the municipality. So what we are doing is physical inspection of meters, reconciliation of the GIS and the financial management system, credit control, and specific attention is also given to companies who are willing and to come forward to assist the municipality. I must say that we have met with big companies in the municipality who are willing, and some have already pledged support for the municipality. As I was on my way, it was confirmed that with the current spillages that we have, Goldie, which is the company that took the municipality to court, has committed that is going to address the current sewer spillages that we have. They will appoint a service provider, and that service provider will assist the municipality on that matter. There was also
25 minutes has gone.
okay. There was also an error which the municipality did on its valuation role, which affected billing. The municipality for a period of 3 years was under billing big companies. We picked up that error. We have had engagement with affected companies, took them through the books, opened the books, and showed them in the error that was committed. But however, there's also disciplinary action that is taking place to those who are affected. And those companies are willing to come forth, and we are negotiating in terms of settlement. As I've indicated on the agricultural community, there was also concern in terms of electricity supply, but I can confirm that we are engaging, especially the farmers at Home Dane, about 28 farmers in those areas that we are busy discussing with them. DBSA is also on board in terms of preparing maintenance plans for us. And also with regard to the water and sanitation, DWS is on board. What we've picked up that there is a challenge in terms of the license of the municipality, which we are currently viewing with DWS. Roads, we are busy. We have engaged Sunral. We have partnered with Sunral due to the capacity that we have, Central will through a memorandum of understanding, has extended their current scope of work to include internal project within the municipality. But however, as the municipality, we are pledging the finance that we have as a municipality. And further on, one issue that also came was the issue of the landfill site. There's a farmer who's affected by the upkeep of the landfill site. Currently, we are busy putting fencing, removing illegal dumping, improving access control, and we have appointed a service provider to conduct a environmental impact assessment and education and an awareness around the upkeep of the landfill site. Lastly, Chairperson, we are also putting, and we have noted that customers in the municipality get frustrated if they have to launch queries. We are busy putting up a customer care and document management system for the municipality so that at least for a particular period, we should be able to access all the queries that we've received and at the same time be able to see if those queries have been addressed. I can pause there for now, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohatsi. We did allow you to go a little bit over your allocated time because of the importance of this presentation. I will now hand over to the panel to engage with this presentation. Before I do, may I get an indication from you if you prefer single questions at a time, or if you would like to take all of the panel's questions at once and then respond to them all?
Yes, I can write all of them.
Okay, that's fine. I will begin with a few comments and questions. May I please refer you to page 154 to begin with? I noted the status of your access to basic services. You state here that those without access to water, for example, constitute 9.6%. Those without access to sanitation, about 13.4%, and so forth. These figures, from a layperson's view, do not correspond with the table below, which speaks to capacity and demand. Your capacity versus your demand determines that the percentage of excess should be more than what you've stated here. So I'd just like to get an indication from you, noting that you are under oath, if you are confirming that these figures are correct, because then our work following this will be then to quality check that the figures that you have presented to us are correct. So may I get an indication from you if you are confirming under oath that these figures are accurate? That is the first question that I would like you to address. The second is on page 157, and it relates to challenges, toilets. I see that you have opted to provide VIP toilets to some communities, and I'd like just clarity on what are VIP toilets? One, because my understanding is VIP means very important people. So what is a VIP toilet, and why is it being why is it the choice of the municipality? So that is one. On page 158, you have stated the progression of some of these challenges over a 3 financial years from 2018, 2019 up to present. but it's not clear how these projects, particularly the figures that you have provided, relate to each other across the different years. And I would like some clarity on that. And perhaps it would have been better if you had provided one table to speak to the single issues and then maybe have columns within that table that indicate the 3 different years, because then it would allow us a better comparative analysis between the 3 years. Then if we move to page 164, I don't know where to begin to speak about this. This table on irregular expenditure. This is just 2019, 2020. I don't know if it's my eyes, but that looks like 2 billion. Could you inform the panel if any individual has been held accountable for the misappropriation of state funds within your municipality? If so, who are those individuals? If not, why? Who is accountable for this? And in your view, who must be accountable for this? You've also mentioned that there's work that the municipality is doing with a service provider to address the sewer spillages. Could you indicate who the service provider is and what their scope or terms of reference for the work is? Those are, I'll pause here. I have a few more questions, but let me pause here so that I can allow other panelists to ask you questions. Thanks, Mr. Makhatz. I'm going to begin on my far left and move to my far right. Thank you.
Mr. Mkhotse, a very good morning to you. There could be an instance where some questions might overlap. Please take note of that. Let's start in ENS then. Page 154, those figures that you've given us, is it possible to get your understanding of what modeling did you use to arrive at those figures, if not standards, so that we can indeed measure the authenticity of those figures? Page 155. I'm not sure if you have in place already in your municipality the so-called township regeneration modeling or approach as a way to eradicate the old apartheid spatial planning patterns. Okay. Are there such grand scheme propositions? And if so, what are the timelines for that? Second to that question, what metric system is used to measure the quality of your water? You make inferences quite a lot on water quality, but there is no commitment on how do you arrive at the measurement? How are these possibly aligned to national standards, if any? Page 156. I take note of your presentation on page 162, which is somewhat biased towards your lower end artisans. But at the heart of service provisioning and skills is the quality of personnel at a higher technical level. In other words, how many qualified water engineers are currently employed in your municipality? So you have the depth of expertise that can then be used to address some of these backlogs and challenges. On the part of management of sewer, are there any plans for renewable energy so that in the end you are able to capitalize on what is available from a resource management point of view? Okay, so best practices are available elsewhere. And I'm thinking here of Stellenbosch municipality. Page 158. You mentioned in passing one particular case of litigation. Prior to you touching based on that, which is on page 164, I had already summed up this question on 158. So in essence, I would like to know, in the last 5 years, how many cases of litigation has the municipality faced? And if so, or if any, what financial losses are we dealing with here? Because I'd like to believe some of these cases could have been avoided, and yet we might be sitting on a liability that is of an own goal. Okay, Chairperson, I think I'll end here for now. Thanks.
Thank you, through you, Chairperson. Mr. Mokhatse, I've got only 3 questions that I would like to ask you, because most of the other aspects have been covered by my fellow panelists. You said you are the acting municipal manager and the administrator is engaged somewhere. Is that engagement viewed to be more significant than appearing before this inquiry as the person who has been appointed to be in charge of the Likwa local municipality? That's the first question. And then the second question is, at the beginning of your speech, you were talking about your municipality relying on borehole water. As far as that is concerned, I would like to find out whether is Likwa a water scarce area, because Likwa is for Vaal. That's where the Vaal River starts. What is the main source of your water that the municipality has? And the last question, as I said, there are 3 questions, is, as you are sitting there, can you give a projection, a rough estimation, how long will it take for the municipality to overcome the challenges that it has currently? Thank you, Chairperson.
For the sake of time, okay, it's on now. Thank you. Morning, Mr. Mokhat, and thanks for the presentation. almost everything of what you have told the panel in terms of the measures the municipality is taking to address these challenges, we're not hearing for the first time. In 2018, 2019, the Commission conducted an investigation around sewer spillages in particular in that municipality. And what you have just outlined now is what we had then in response to the findings of the Commission. Now, why have this sewer spillage and treatment challenges, why have they not been resolved by now? We are in 2021. Secondly, the issues you have raised around revenue collection are common to many municipalities, surely and they're old in your municipality. We were told the same story 2-3 years ago. Is there a plan now to collect revenue effectively and efficiently? Because if there isn't any, there is no hope that this municipality will ever wake up from its death. The Auditor General presented before this panel yesterday, and we were informed that for the same period you were presenting about, 2019-2020, there is an amount of 152 million in your municipality, which is unaccounted for. So surely, if there is talk of improving on service delivery, and there is this constant cry of lack of resources, it can't be that in the very same municipality, you have so big an amount of money which could not be accounted for. I'm not sure what that means. Has it been lost? Has it been stolen? But the Auditor General who has audited your financials has reported that this amount cannot be accounted for. Now, the municipality has been put under administration. You have been in the space for some time now.
3 months.
Yes, 3 months. What are notable areas of improvement already? Is there any hope? Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel in terms of some progress being made to improve on service delivery? And again, surely if if there's so much of unauthorized, regular, and wasteful expenditure of up to 2 billion rands, you can't be moving forward. You are actually regressing, and the situation can only get worse if monies of this magnitude, cannot be properly accounted for. So I just want to hear your responses to these questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I wanted to touch the issue of unauthorized and wasteful expenditure as well, but I think it has been covered by colleagues here. I want to ask you, Mr. Mukhazi, if you, as a municipality, have what we call water services development plan. Water Services Act requires every municipality to develop the plan in terms of section 12, 13, 14, and 15 of the Act, and it indicates that you can develop that or prepare that as part of your IDP or separately. And that plan must, the Act allows you or guides you on what must be contained in that plan. While IDP is a 5-year document, the Water Services Development Plan, you have to update it yearly and report on it yearly. Can I establish if the municipality has that plan? Is it accessible by the members of the public as required by legislation? Can I walk into your offices and obtain a copy as required by legislation? Because this is the plan that tells you your capacity, your shortcomings, your challenges, your plans, where you want to be, where you are as a municipality. I think that is the most important thing that I wanted to raise. Thank you.
Mr. Mokhatsi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and members. I think firstly what I need to share with the Commission, I'll go through the questions now, is that currently the municipality is under Section 139(7) intervention, which seek to say that all councillors were removed. And as well, the previous MM resigned. So as I'm indicating that this intervention was introduced by Cabinet nationally. It's a national intervention wherein Mr. Metla was appointed as an administrator, I think the 28th of May. One of the areas that it's emphasized that the administration must do is to address the question that which was raised to say, what is it that need to be done to address all these questions that members are raising, which are in relation to service delivery and the finances of the municipality. through National Treasury, a financial recovery plan has been compiled, which draft is out for comments. I will share it with the members. Now, what the draft seek to address is exactly all these issues that the members are raising, to say, now that we don't have council, we don't have councillors, we've got the administrator who takes the responsibility of council and any other office bearers that you have, and you have the municipal manager as part of the intervention. Where do we start in terms of addressing this? And I must say that the reason why the municipality was put under intervention in the main is service delivery related matters, which for some time the municipality never addressed. Companies within the local municipality took the national minister of finance and the minister of culture to court to say, we have invested in this municipality. And for many years, some stated for more than 10 years, we've got the problem of electricity, with the problem of water, with the problem, all these problems that are highlighted here. Therefore, National Cabinet resolved that let us remove all councillors, let the municipality be under national control, wherein an administrator was sent to deal with these issues. Now, what has been done to date is to develop that financial recovery plan, which addresses not only the finances, it addresses the 3 stages or phases that the plan speaks to. Firstly is the rescue phase, and in the rescue phase, in the main, the activities are speaking to cash restoration position in the municipality, which must be done within 12 months. Because as we are speaking, we don't have cash as a municipality. So therefore, the municipality needed to restore its cash position first, then it will be able in the position to address some of these issues. Then the second phase, there's a stabilization, which in terms of the plan that National is putting, it should take between 12 to 24 months. Then after which, then there's a sustainability phase that addresses the sustainability of the municipality going forward. Meaning that if I answer one of the question, the assumption is that, or the plan is that at least after 24 months of the intervention, the municipality should be sustainable. But there are activities that are in detail that are put in the plan that I'm referring to. Which activities that are grouped into 3? There's governance matters that are not there in the municipality, which will speak to issues of your policy environment, your governance, issues of clean audit and audit. Then there's also, as I've said, there's also financial viability that has been identified, that in order to restore the financial viability of this municipality, these are the activities that we need to go into. And then there's also, in the main, the service delivery. In the main, the service delivery. And it's categorized accordingly from the basic services that the members have asked to say, in terms of, for instance, 1, electricity, what need to happen? There was a panel of professionals that were deployed by National Treasury to come and make an assessment and then develop action plan to address electricity issues, to address water and sanitation, to address roads, to address all those activities that are related to service delivery. So that plan, a draft has been completed. That draft we have already, together with National Treasury, consulted with the forums in the municipality to allow them to make inputs, including even creditors that we owe, like ESCOM, DWS, and so on and so forth, to make inputs and see whether will this plan that Treasury is putting together, will it address their consensus as far as. So currently there's that consultation that is taking place. And coming to one of the questions to say, where is the administrator? And does he view that meeting that he attended and appearing on the commission, how does he view that? And unfortunately, he's leading the consultation in terms of that activity of speaking and addressing various forums with National Treasury on that matter, and requested me to attend to this. I just thought I must share with the committee just in broad what is happening, and whilst I'm going to address the questions asked. The first question was around the figures. Yes, I can confirm. I will just, in addition, indicate the source of these figures that you've presented. But it's the status quo in the municipality in terms of the figures. What I can just do in addition, as the chairperson you asked, that there seems to be no correlation between access and the number. I'll just go through that, and I'll make a footnote in terms of any variations that and forward to the secretariat for perusal by the committee members, especially on the demand, and then the capacity, and then as stated that there seems to be no correlation. I will explain that in details so that it could be easily understandable.
Commissioner,
Then with regard
30
to-
minutes has lapsed. Thank you.
With regard to VIP, that's how they are called. It's and the reason why there's VIPs is in areas whereby we don't have pipes. It's mostly in the farming area where there are VIPs. Unfortunately, I don't know why they are called VIP, but it's opaque latrines that we go and suck them when they are full. They are called VIPs, and mostly it's in those areas where there are no pipes. There are no pipes for waterborne toilets that you can install. And hence, in order just to restore the dignity, we normally in those rural areas, they put VIP toilets or pit latrines. And there was also a question in terms of the comparative analysis and the methodology. I think if the commission so allow, I will go and find the methodology and share it with the commission at a later stage, as was asked. And that comparative analysis that we refer to, we'll build it within the report. Yes, it's true, irregular expenditure is 2 billion. The municipality has not addressed irregular, unauthorized, that category of the expenditure for a very long time. And this led to the municipality or COCTA intervening in the municipality, conducting a Section 106 investigation. So the report is there, which the previous council failed to implement. This is one of the reasons that led to the current intervention, where National came in and said, you've got a Section 106, there's no consequences that have been applied, and therefore there's also other service delivery related challenges that we have as a municipality. They then removed the whole council, and is one of the terms of reference for the current administrator to implement consequence management with regard to all these issues. And the question was who, why? Obviously, it's the officials in the municipality were there then, and I'm sure the investigation also spells out who and where. So in the matter of the administrator implementing and is in advance in terms of implementing that Section 106, and definitely where I am, I'm definitely sure that there will be people that will be appointed in terms of this man. Then sewer spillages, the company that is assisting us now It's Goldie. It's one of the big chicken companies in the municipality. It's actually the one that took the municipality to court, because they've already invested and they are planning even to expand their plant. And they felt that service delivery need to be addressed in order for sustainability of their company. So they've come forward and said, we are willing and want to partner with the municipality. As much as we took you to court, we are coming. Let's help you address the sewer spillages that we have. And we're expecting a service provider to start by tomorrow. But they appointed the service provider. We went together with them. We did an assessment and showed them all the spillages that we have within the municipality. Township establishment. And it also speak to the question that was asked by the member here in terms of the water services development plan. I can confirm that the plans of the municipality are outdated. Most of them are more than 5 years. So what we have done was to partner with the DBSA. We have applied and have received a funding, and they call it a non-lending funding, wherein currently DBSA is appointing service provider to come and look at all our plans that we should have as a municipality, which include water services plan. It also speaks to the Spluma or township schemes that we should have, and the regeneration of the economy of the town. And that application as well that we've made also addresses the revenue enhancement in the municipality.
Mr. Mahati, you've got 2 more minutes.
Yes. Qualification of personnel, we are busy with the assessment, including or starting from the highest level to the lowest level that we have. And the purpose is to see whether we've got the right persons in the right position. But the view is that there is a problem in terms of that. Litigations, I must confirm that I'll get the number, but currently, even now, we are receiving a lot of litigations. I was doing a founding affidavit that I must serve at the High Court today regarding the landfill site. But the figures and the extent of the litigation, I can share it with the Commission. But yes, there are litigations that we have, and very serious amounts that we are speaking about around litigations. The projections, I mean, how do we see liquor? It's summarized in the FRP plan that we have developed with Treasury to say from now until 12 months, this is what we need to see. After 12 months to 24 months, this is what we need to see. Then after that, this is what we also need to see. AG presentation, it's the amount that AG has referred to is included in the section 106. And there is a person or persons that have been identified who are possibly responsible for that. So the implementation of that 106 report that the administrator is busy with will address some of these issues. So in short, the intervention, we've made an assessment in terms of what needs to happen and when it should happen, and that draft FRP and the presentation that we are busy now, feedback that we are giving to the community, I will share with the Commission and the questions that I've indicated. I can pause here for now.
Siyabonga. Mr. Mohati, your time is up. I do believe maybe some of the panelists might have had an appetite for follow-up questions. There is one, so I will give over to the Prof. Our time is up, but I think it's necessary for us to do so. Prof, please go ahead.
Just a quick one. Would you then furnish, as part of your response, the formula used for your billing system? I see there's problems there, but you're not giving us something to chew. And I take it that would be the formula that you guys apply across the board. Please, can you include that as part of the answers?
Mr. Mohatsi, our report writing team will collate the questions that we have verbally given you, that you have responded to. Your responses then will be in writing to these questions. We hear that you have given the responses now, but it will be useful to also get the same responses in writing, and there will be a follow-up with regards to that. Before we release you, Mr. Mohatsi, you see this intervention by Goldie. This is what can happen in the future. Another company will come and then they will focus on electricity in the whole municipality. Another one on the provision of water. Before you know it, the whole municipality is rendered redundant because the private sector or private individuals will then be providing the resources that you had been tasked to provide. And there will be no need for your municipality anymore. That is the reality. Because your municipality has been given the opportunity to serve, and you have thrown it in the face of the Constitution. That is the reality. Just looking at your commitment with regards to the financial recovery plan, phase 1 is the rescue phase, which is the cash restoration. You have to restore 2 billion in effect. Whether that is possible or not will be up to you. But the reality is that there's no longer any time for what this municipality has been doing. So this is your opportunity to make the necessary changes. It is upsetting that the official who was meant to be here chose not to be here, because that is another sign of non-commitment to this process. Nonetheless, we thank you, Mr. Mohatsi, for your commitment. We thank you for your presentation. We will be in touch with you and following the questions, but also in the process of us developing our report and the remedial action thereafter. With that, thank you very much, Mr. Mohatsi. We wish you all the best for your day and for your work.
Okay, thank you very much. I've taken note and will do so.
Thank you. Good day. It is now 10:34, and we would like to call the next presenter, who will be from Dr. J.S. Moroka, local municipality. While the presenter prepares themselves, Program Director, could you assist us in indicating on which pages of the pack this presentation will be found?
Commissioner, that is Dr. J.S. Moroka.
Yes.
Dr. J.S. Moroka has not made a submission, chairperson, but we did attach their, I think their latest report. Also, I'm not sure, do we have a representation from Dr. J.S.? Because earlier I did check, I didn't see anyone. Is there representation from Dr. J.S. Moroka? And I'm not aware, we have not received an apology as far as I'm aware. Perhaps Ms. Spanioni, can you have we received an apology from Dr. J.S.?
No, we haven't checked. We haven't.
Um, Chairperson and the panel and the inquiry at large, I think it's very obvious that we do not have attendance from JS Moroka Municipality. I just want to place on record that I have communicated the anticipation of JS Moroka Municipality not attending to the head of department, and he promised to get back to me. So I hoped that he would ensure, Mr. Ngubani, he would ensure that the municipality attend the inquiry. So obviously, we do not have them before this inquiry. I think we should proceed with the program of the day, and the panel will have to deliberate at the end of the day on how this non-appearance is going to be dealt with going forward. See if there are any opportunities to salvage the situation, because by hook or crook, they should, like everyone else who has made time and respected the commission by making submissions and appearing, did. So I think at this point in time, Chair, with your permission, I propose that we proceed with the program and deal with JS Moroka local municipalities non-attendance later after this session. Thank you.
Is the representative from Govan Mbeki local municipality present? While we prepare their presentation, I'm going to ask that we take a 5-minute leg stretch just to deal with the administrative issues of the absence of Dr. J.S. Moroka and then the preparation of Govan Mbeki local municipality. It is now 10:39 and we'll be back at 10:45.
Possibly the next year, then we can deal with the next issues. Let me see that.
We'll do that during the case.
One, two. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Much, Chairperson, and greetings to commissioners and colleagues. Well, my presentation, as indicated, will start from page 299. That is our response. But I see, Chairperson, that the first page or the second page is missing from the pack. Here, it starts from page 1 and then it jumps to page 3, and so on it proceeds. It gives me a little bit of a limitation, but I will try and navigate my way through. So I think the starting point would be that will reflect on the challenges that you have presented to ourselves, Chairperson, where we look at historical challenges, we look at systematic challenges, but we also look at probably day-to-day operational limitations post the democratic dispensation, if you like. So I'll try and reflect on 3, if not 4, broad issues. I'll look at the broad demographic makeup of the municipality, its location, and some key facts and figures. That will be the first part, and then the second part will deal with service delivery related challenges, and my main focus will be more on water supply. In the main, I will touch on the other aspects of service delivery being sanitation, refuse, collection, removal, as well as roads. But my main thrust will focus more on water. And then the third element of my presentation will focus on the financial and administrative capacity of the municipality, looking at the financial position and the challenges that go with that, together with our administrative capacity to dealing with those particular issues. And then finally, we'll look at some of the proposals and measures that we have taken, are taking, and will continue to take in the near future to try and mitigate on these service delivery challenges. So without much ado, Chair, Thembisile local municipality is a municipality within MPUMALANGA, located in the Highveld northwestern part of MPUMALANGA, and it is a former homeland municipality. It comprises of 32 wards. The municipality does not have major towns, but it has villages comprising of or located within the 32 wards that I have mentioned. The municipality has 2 main formalized townships, being KwaMhlanga Township and Tweefontein K Township. Those are the 2 main townships that have been formalized post 1994. Other than that, we've got quite a villages, informal villages, and so on and so forth. The villages are close to about 57, and the employment figures of the municipality are such that of the population of the municipality, 97,744 people are economically active. And then out of this, our unemployment rate is 37%, meaning that close to 36,165 people are unemployed. In terms of the employment issues, the highest unemployment ward or people that are unemployed are located within Ward 30 in our municipality. I'd also want to just briefly touch on the poverty rate, which is estimated at 40% of the total population. And it's quite an exorbitant number because obviously later we'll discover that it provides certain challenges in regards to affordability and payment of services, which is one of the major issues that we face as a municipality. When it comes to education, we note that close to about 18% of the total population of the municipality has gone beyond matric. So it's also quite a low education level. We do provide a detailed breakdown on page 303 of our presentation, where it does indicate that about 11.7% of our people in the municipality have completed matric, and only 1.3% have attained a higher qualification than matric. I proceed to look at the household income on page 304. And I think of note is that our, if I may, highest household income within the municipality is 23.6% of our people who earn an amount of 19,601 per annum up to 38,200 per annum. That is the highest paid category within the municipality. And we've got less and less people who earn above R1 million. It's just under 0.3%, if you like. The economic analysis of the municipality reflects the following. In fact, most of our people, even from observation and history and knowledge of the area, work in Gauteng, particularly city of Tshwane. The municipality itself has limited availability of industry. I think that is just one of the highlights I'd like to make under economic analysis. When we compare the unemployment status with the district and the province, well, of our total population, we realize that Tembisile has unemployed figures of 61,611, whereas Nkangala has 355. So our contribution to that can be calculated. That 61,000 will obviously add on to that 355, and then that 969 in the province. So in short, that is the generic socio-economic status of facts and figures within the municipality. I now move to the second part that I indicated I will reflect on, which is water provision on page 305. Firstly, we'd like to indicate that in terms of the determination of powers and functions that we have as a municipality, we are a water services authority, in that we have the authority to provide water to the total populace of the municipality. Again, touching on history, prior to the 1st of July 2021, the municipality did not have its own water source. Over the past probably 25 years or so, if not 27 years post-democracy, the municipality relied on external supply
10
for,
minutes has passed, Commissioner.
it relied on external sources for supply of water. Namely, we rely, still do today, on Rand Water, who supply our municipality with 35, or rather, we are contracted to them to supply the municipality with 35 megaliters per day, which is about 35 million liters of water per day. City of Tshwane is contracted to give us 16 megaliters per day, which is 16 million liters of water per day, but they are currently only able to give us 8 megaliters of water per day. And prior to that, like I said, we also relied on Dr. J.S. Moroka to supply us with 5 megaliters of water per day, but that supply has not been coming forth since about 5 years ago, in 2016. So with that in mind, we then have begun the process of building our own water source, where we started a project called Moses River or Punduweya. We are now able to get 5 megaliters of water per day from that source. I think what will be important, commissioners, is for commissioners to note that the demand of water in the municipality is much higher than the supply we're getting. Our calculations indicate, and I see it has not been written here, but I'd like to place it on record. Our demand in the municipality is close to 73 megaliters of water per day, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll get the actual figures and submit them appropriately. But that is the approximate demand of water per day. By the way, I omitted to introduce, Chair, the colleagues that I've brought along with me. We've got Technical Services Manager. That is why I'm reminded, Mr. Vusis Kosana at the back there. And then we've also got the Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Jessica Mahlangu, who is here to support our team. So I digressed a bit just to come back. So we demand close to 73 megaliters of water per day, and I will give the correct figure, like I said. But our supply is a far cry. I think we only receive about 43 megaliters of water per day on average. So we have a major challenge of water in the municipality. We do have storage capacity that we have built over the municipality and so on. In terms of waste collection, we must indicate that the municipality is able to collect waste from all its wards once in 2 weeks, given our capacity. And then in terms of sanitation, the municipality does have a waterborne system where close to 7,617 households have access to waterborne sewer system and ventilated improved pit latrines, meaning VIP toilets. We've got about 1,182 households that make use of this, and then unlined pit latrines. It's a total of 100,483 households, meaning most of our villages rely on pit toilets, if you like. We do have water treatment plants in the municipality, one in Tweefontein K, which is operational, and then another one that we are in the process of constructing at Luchuli, and then we also have another one in Wamhlanga, which is a port. Now, with regards to issues relating to general water provision in the municipality, on page 307, we have reflected on all the wards where we look at Ward 1 up to Ward 32. And in that submission, we look at the ward number we look at the name of the village, we look at the total number of households in that particular ward, and then we look at water provision, we look at waste collection, we look at sanitation, and we provide comments. I think just in summary, that particular submission indicates the fact that we do collect water, we do supply water in all our villages. However, I must qualify this as follows, that we don't supply water to our villages on a daily basis. Like I said, there's a shortage in supply. So the only way that we can cover the entire village is if we do a program that we call Vulavala program, where we ration water. Today, we'll close for this particular village and open for them tomorrow, and so on it goes. So how we do it is we provide water on a rationed basis, or a Vulavala program. And then, of course, we then augment that with boreholes, and then we also augment that with mobile water tankers all over the village. So that is very important, I think, for commissioners to take note of. So this summary does indicate, the supply situation and the challenges that we're facing in all the villages. So in the interest of time, I will not go through each and every ward, safe to say that, that is what we have submitted in writing. And then moving on to page number 312 of the submission pack, we also look at the overview of the reliability, frequency, and quality rendered in each of our villages. So again, I think that particular submission will probably provide a better insight, particularly into the water supply, where we indicate that in Muloto, for instance, our main source of water is City of Tshwane, that is what COT stands for there. And then the frequency of supply in those areas would be 3 times a week, meaning it's a Monday, it's a Wednesday, and it's a Friday. And in terms of reliability, we do make that submission and admission that the supply is inconsistent. But quality, obviously, we do endeavor to meet the minimum quality standards provided by Department of Water and Sanitation. And then we also look at the average megaliters that we supply per day on all of these particular villages. So for instance, in Muloto, our source is City of Tshwane, and frequency is 3 times a week. And then the estimated megaliters that we supply per day is about 8 megaliters per day. So, and so on it goes for all the villages. So like I said, in the interest of time, I will then not go into the detail. It has been provided for all of us to peruse at. And then I now move on to page 319, where I provide an overview of some of the measures that we have taken to improve, particularly the issue of supply of water. And we're answering the question to the extent that is possible, where we provide the measures that we have taken in the past 3 financial years to address this water challenge that I have spoken to. And the one measure project that we have been doing over the past 3 financial years is the Moses River. I think we have written a very long, how do I put it? The name of the project is long, but in short, it's Moses River, Bunduweya, where we are collecting 5 megaliters of water that I have referred to. So this was our Apex project over the past 3 financial years. And I think I'm happy to announce that we now have been able to complete that particular project, and we are now able to extract 5 megaliters of water per day as our own source. We are obviously just dealing with what we call support complex, ancillary works in terms of paving and other things that don't necessarily have to do with the actual abstraction of water. And then we also have upgraded water storage around the area of MPUMALANGA which will obviously benefit areas such as Polar Park, Mountain View, and so on and so forth. And then that is a 10 megaliter water storage capacity. We also have upgraded water infrastructure by constructing a 4 megaliter storage capacity for the benefit of Vlakplaas and Kwaggafontein communities. We've built another storage capacity, 5 megaliters of water around the areas of Sun City. We've also constructed, a new water gantry where we collect water for the water tankers to distribute all over the area. That we have done also over the past 3 financial years as it were. We've also done borehole installation, I think in areas such as Lobspruit Farm or for the farming communities. So there are quite a number of farms where we've installed boreholes, and I will not go into all of them. I think we've drilled quite a substantial number of boreholes over the past 3 years, just to make sure that we augment the supply. Now, the other projected major project of water supply that I would like to draw your attention to is the low-scope bulk water supply, and would also like some pressure to be exerted on Department of Water and Sanitation, well as in Kangala District Municipality, because if that particular project was to take off, it could also supply an additional 20 megaliters of water to our municipality within the next 3 to 5 years. So it is an apex project that I think Department of Water needs to focus on, and it's one project that all the necessary studies, have been done for. So that is just the one highlight that I'd like to bring to the attention of the commissioners. I move over now
20 minutes has lapsed, Commissioner. Actually, 22 minutes.
I'm left with 3 minutes. Is that correct? Okay. So yeah, I've taken too much time on water. Let me just now jump on to issues relating to financial overview, and that is on page 326. I think on just at high level, I must indicate that the municipality is highly reliant on national fiscus for its operational budget. We do not have the capacity or are unable to collect revenue from our local people for obvious reasons. I think one is poverty, two, probably the unreliability of water supply in the main, because that in itself becomes a limitation. But thirdly, I think that area being a former homeland and necessarily land being administered by traditional authorities, you find that land allocation is done by our traditional authorities, and none of the land allocation, if anything at all, is done by the municipality. So that in itself keeps being Kwaggafontein villages are informal. So, and that is historic. So it does provide systematic challenges, as it were. So basically, the only summary I can give is that we've received 596 million rand of million rand from National Fiscus, National Treasury in 2018-19, 618 in 2020, 648 in the 2020-2021 financial year. And then, like I said, the average collection rate over the past year is only sitting at 17%. I think the other important factor to note is the fact that we do submit our financial statements on a yearly basis to the Auditor General. We've not had issues in that particular regard. The previous financial year, the opinion that we got was a qualified opinion over the past 3 years. And then I think in terms of fruitless, irregular, and wasteful expenditure accumulatively over the past 3 years has been recorded to be at about 58.6 million on page 330. And we've taken measures to make sure that there's consequence management in that particular regard. So basically, I'd like to then give that summary and indicate that at top management level, the municipality has had a consistent over the past 3 years. So all the critical posts at high level are filled, in our view, with competent staff who's got capacity as well. And the municipality, in our view, is very functional, and all committees of council do sit and they play the oversight role that they necessarily must play. So with that, I think I'd like to conclude my presentation and submission to the commission. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Nkosi. Yesterday, we heard from a resident within your municipality.
Yes.
We heard various issues surrounding the many challenges to the delivery of services in your municipality.
Yeah.
And one of them, as you correctly point to, related to the issues of water supply, and then what the community is forced to do as a result in obtaining this basic service. People are now crossing Moloto Road with wheelbarrows, a dangerous situation. Mr. Nkosi, because they are desperate. We also heard about the commodification of this resource, whereby those that you have hired, the service provider that is delivering the water, when you have sent the provider to come to my village, en route to the village, someone with money calls them from the other village and says, no, come here because I've got money for you. Then the truck driver does a U-turn and goes where the money is. Could you tell us if you've heard of these problems? And if so, what have you done about it, or what are you doing about it? Before you respond, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Nkosi, if you would prefer to answer single questions or individual questions, or if you prefer to take all of the questions by the panel and answer them at once.
Well, I'm with my team, so maybe let's take each question as it goes, so that we are fresh and we'll record them, but we might not be too accurate.
That's fine. You can then respond to the questions that I have posed, and thereafter, then I will move from my far right to my far left as the panel engages with your presentation. Over to you, Mr. Nkosi, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Well, so we've heard of these things. First and foremost, I must indicate we've heard of the danger of people having to cross either Moloto Road or having to cross, Verina Road, or having to cross Gwamhlanga, R568, Gwamhlanga, Prongosprate Road. So we've heard of this. We've also heard of the issues where there are allegations of the water tanker people selling water. So let me start with the first one, and I think my technical services manager is here. He can also raise his hand and come in if he so wishes, if that's permitted, rather. Okay. So
because there's one mic, if they have to, in which case they will have to be sworn in as well. So I'm not sure if that should be done at this point or as and when they are called, just to indicate.
yeah, well, in that case, maybe in the interest of time and the administrative challenge, I will deal with the issues. Unless, of course, there's something that I've missed and they want to be sworn in. But I'm worried about the administrative challenges.
You are right, Mr. Nkosi. Please address the questions.
Okay.
If your colleagues see that there are important issues that they would want to add to that response, they must, following your responses, let you know.
Yes,
And through you, then we will receive those responses.
that's fine.
But for now, please do continue. But I also want you, as you are proceeding, to also speak in relation to the issue of the commodification
Yes.
of water. There has been a rising trend in what is called water tycoons in your area, who collect the water and sell it to residents because they've got the transport. So we would want you to then speak to all of those issues.
Okay.
Over to you, Mr. Mposi.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. So the first one relates to the issue of danger, where people have to cross from one street to another to collect water. Well, it is common cause, like I said earlier on, that the water supply in the area is in short supply. The demand is much higher than the supply, and therefore we rely on Vulavala. Experience quite a lot of, air in some of the pipes, and when you supply water, there will be a lot of water leakages, not due to the fact that sometimes some of the pipes will not have water, so they will accumulate air, and as you supply water, there's pressure, which will obviously not be good for the pipes. So technically, that does present problems. So even if we're supposed to be supplying a particular area at a particular time, you'll find that that particular area has not had water for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for 4 weeks, in some other instances, and therefore there will then be those knock-on effects in that particular regard. And again, the other challenge here too relates to the fact that the municipality, like I said, is a former homeland. So most of the land allocation over years has been done by, I'd say traditional authorities. And that in itself has got systematic problems in that there's no town planning. Find that, sometimes people are put in a particular area by a particular traditional leader, and there is no infrastructure that has been planned for that particular area. But obviously, water is life. People can't live without water. There's a pipe crossing over that particular area. I mean, an area, of concern would probably be an area like Sheldon, where we've got a water pipeline where, we call it 1,000 line from rainwater that crosses that particular village to supply the other areas within the municipality. But the village of Sheldon was not there when we built that particular pipe and when we planned, for that particular supply. So naturally what they do, they see the pipe is crossing my village. So naturally I need to then connect to the pipe and get my own water. So that in itself causes problems to our water supply. In other instances, you find people just taking, this particular service into their own hands, go and open valves and so on and so forth. And our own people have to chase after them, close this. That in itself causes other problems. So hence, the challenge that if I see that my next door neighbor or across the street, they've got water, I don't have water, naturally I will cross across and or I'll go across and collect water. I think those are the major challenges that we see on a day-to-day basis. Let me address this issue of commodification of tankers. So over the past 5 years, we did not use external service providers to supply water to villages. We relied on our own water tankers as a municipality. And that in itself had its own limitation, simply because the growth rate of villages and how with our financial capacity and our planning capacity. So in other words, you had many people occupying land water than the municipality's ability and capacity to supply, both infrastructure and the water, as I've indicated before. So in 2017, okay, so then you had independent water supply service providers who bought their own water tankers and actually went around to sell water on their own to the villagers within the area without our input, without our authorization, and so on and so forth. They were doing that on their own accord, which I suppose is a service that they could see, was required by the community. But they still take water from our own source. And then in 2017, we then decided that, okay, let us also, appoint our own service providers to try and cover as many villages as we could. And so we then decided to appoint local service providers to also augment the water supply within the municipality. Now, the allegation that some drivers or some owners of these water tankers are selling water to villagers in itself is probably historic. Like I said, it was happening long even before we decided to appoint service providers to provide these particular services. People were buying water themselves from independent suppliers. But then our own people that we have appointed as service providers to the municipality, we obviously have certain stringent measures in place where, you know, we get confirmation from ward councillors, ward committees, and some of the villagers themselves that indeed X number of what liters of water have been supplied to our municipality. We have always said to residents such as the one that we were referring to of yesterday that please, where there's empirical evidence that a certain Mr. Oscar Nkosi is selling water and that person has been appointed by the municipality to deliver water on behalf of the municipality and he gets paid by the municipality for the liters of water that he has supplied, please come forward, take the matter to the law enforcement agencies, don't even come to us, so that we are clear that I have bought water from this particular service provider and that has not come forth. Thank you.
Siyabonga Dlamini. So we will go from my far right to my far left.
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me start with my first question. I just have two questions. Sure. I am worried, or I was worried when you said land allocation is done by traditional leadership and not municipality.
Yes.
I am aware that your municipality is a rural municipality.
Yes.
And you keep saying it's a former homeland.
Yes.
What is the relationship of the municipality with the traditional leadership in terms of land management for the purposes of development and human settlement? Still on that question, does the municipality have land that it can allocate for this purpose of human settlement in these areas? If not, why not? The second question, I think I have to ask every municipality this question, and so that we as the commission, at the end of the day, we determine if municipalities comply with legislation on water, specifically the Water Services Act, as required that every municipality should. Being Water Services Authority, you would definitely have a plan or a water services development plan that you prepare together with your IDP or separately. What are the main challenges reflected on your water services plan to the public? When last did you update and report on your water services plan? The water services development plan, I mean. And yeah, so just the contents of your plan, please address us today. We would have hoped to have gotten the plan for this purpose when you appear here, so that we interrogate it and see, because that's the plan that places you in terms of where you are as the municipality, reflecting the challenges that you are experiencing and the plans going forward as to where do you want to go in the next year, because you have to report on that plan every year and update it up to 2 times a year. So let's address that issue, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. So let me start with the land allocation and the relationship that the municipality has with our traditional authorities. I think in my submission, on page 330, at bottom it will say 32, we have reflected on land invasion. And part of what we have indicated there is that we admit, first and foremost, that land invasion is a major problem within the municipality, with individuals who claim to be traditional leaders allocating land. And I say this because in some instances, we've had several engagements with known and authorized traditional authorities who have distanced themselves from some of these activities. And so we have said in our submission that some of these claim to be traditional leaders allocating land to individuals without the proper planning processes being followed. Road and power line servitudes are disregarded in this process. That causes further challenges when the areas need to be formalized. A further challenge which is being experienced between the traditional authority and the municipalities, the lack of integration and cooperation. The traditional authorities allocated areas for residential and business purposes as tradition without consultation with the local authority. The allocation therefore creates additional needs for services such as water sanitation, refuse removal, etc., in areas where the municipality has not planned anything. As a result of the above, the municipality initiated a process of consulting all tribal authorities, and this was done in 2017, within our jurisdiction to come up with a memorandum of agreement, and we have referred the matter also to the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs to try and formalize this particular relationship. That MOU has not been signed today, and we keep on requesting COPTA's intervention. So the relationship is informal. We still experience those challenges as we speak, as of today. So that is in regards to the first question. The first part of the first question. The second part relates to whether the municipality has its own land that it can allocate. Like I said earlier on, we only have two formalized areas, being Kwaggafontein and Kwamhlanga as we speak, and we do have pieces of land that stands that are for sale in those particular areas, and people do approach us to come and buy these particular stands. But the major part of the area, the land, is owned by national and provincial government. From time to time, we do apply for land, state land release, and it does happen. We have instances where particular properties have been released to the municipality, and I think we can provide such information as it is required. I don't have that detail at my disposal right now, but most of the land is actually owned at national and provincial level. With regards to water services development plan, we do have the water services development plan. I'm now addressing your second question. And of course, the content. So the good thing is that we've just reviewed the water services development plan now, and council has approved that review now, I think on the 30th or end of August this particular year. And the plan is available for public to view and to look at its content. It is available on the website of the municipality, and copies are available at the library as well. Now, some of the challenges that are noted by the plan, like I said, it's first and foremost is the fact that we decry the short supply of water. That is what the plan reflects. We also look at some of the issues, or the plan reflects some of the challenges that we face regarding, the water leakages and water losses, and so on and so forth. We also reflect on the, the knock-on effect of, services, of individuals just, plugging into our main pipes. And that has effects on the, reduced pressure and various other related matters. So it does provide, those sort of, challenges in the plan itself. And we also give a forecast of the water supply needs over the next 20 years, 20-year planning horizon. And part of what we are indicating is that, we need more water supply sources such as Loskop Dam and so on and so forth. So basically, I think those would be the elements within the plans. I've addressed its accessibility, and I've addressed when last it was updated, which was this year in August. And like I said, the plan is available on the website, and I think we can make it available to the commission for further perusal and interrogation. I think those were the two questions that I've noted. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thanks, Mr. Nkosi, for your presentation. Thanks for your presentation, Mr. Nkosi. Firstly, the Auditor General has informed this panel that the Tembisila-Hani local municipality has regressed in terms of its the AG's audit outcome for the period under review, the 2019-2020. So I would like you to speak to the panel around why has that happened and what measures are the municipality or is the municipality taking to address the regression? That's the first question. Secondly, the Commission issued a preliminary report in the past around water supply challenges, particularly in relation to Zakeni community. So I would like to hear from you on the steps the municipality has taken this far to implement the recommendations and directives in that report. Thirdly, I'm not sure for how long is it going to be acceptable to all of us as residents in the province, in the country, to hear that municipalities are not able to sustain themselves financially because they are unable to collect revenue. This to me is because it's not able to get money from the clients it is giving, the product it's selling. You know, for whatever reason, I heard you mentioning due to poverty and other things, but could be done to have effective revenue collection systems in municipalities so that they're able to get returns for the services they're providing. Because otherwise, I just don't see how municipalities will even be able to provide these services if, for starters, they cannot collect revenue. Lastly, part of what we were told yesterday, and I know, especially in your area, there's this issue of law. I forgot the term, but low-lying areas and high lying areas where some people will just never get water supply because of their locality. Now, put yourself in this situation. So, even though you may be trying to address that, by providing water through tankers, but if there's this corruption element, now those who are able to get water because of where they're located, they'll always get water. But those who are meant to get it through tankers, they will never get water. And to your credit, the evidence you got yesterday was that there doesn't seem to be political unwillingness. The municipality is willing, but these kind of challenges will obviously always create a situation where some communities never get water. And I want to hear from you, what is the municipality planning to do to make sure that that rationing supply of water is done in a way that the water gets to everyone in all communities, including the unformalized, because as you said, water is like, they can't die for not being formalized. And what is the municipality's process of formalizing these places? Because they can't remain unformalized forever, especially if being unformalized disadvantages them in terms of receiving service delivery. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. So I've noted a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. So let me start with this first one, the Auditor General indication that our municipality has regressed in the 2019-2020 financial year audit. So in broad terms, we've in our view, we've had a qualified opinion over the past 3 years. So in broad terms, there's no regression in terms of the audit opinion. It's still a negative audit opinion, but we've not had a disclaimer or an adverse opinion. So that's the first thing that I thought I should say. It's not it's not something to be proud of. I just need to qualify that. So we have, so in the previous financial year, which is 2018-2019, we had the 2 matters that we were qualified on. I think one of them would have been, if not 3, but the CFO is here to correct me. Part of one of them would have been what we call, now the term is escaping my head now, where we look at commitments of the previous financial year going into the next financial year. So we're qualified on commitments. And in the previous financial year, we corrected that. We were then qualified on new matters in the previous financial year, meaning it had to do with issues of revenue, which we were not qualified on in the previous financial year. So we were qualified on revenue, which was matter, and then we were qualified, also on water inventory. Now, I'd argue and say that, it's not necessarily a surprise. From where I see it as an accounting officer, water inventory in our municipality is a problem. And I'll tell you why. Remember, the issue is how much water do you get from your suppliers, meaning it's Water, City of Tshwane, and in the main, those are the 2 sources now. Let's just forget about, in the main, those are the 2 sources now. Let's just forget about Dr. J.S. Moroka. Now, once you get the water in your inventory, how then do you distribute? how do you make sure that all the water that you have in your inventory indeed goes to the customer that you need to supply the water to? There are systematic problems that go with that. Like I said, we distribute our own water, in terms of the pipelines, and then you've got all these challenges of burst pipes and leakages and so on and so forth, that are a nightmare to measure. So you are not able to measure that if I've gotten X number of megaliters per day, X number of megaliters have gone to the specific customer. Secondly, you then have our municipal water tankers that deliver water. Again, in that regard, you do have a situation where you've got a 10,000, 18,000 18,000 liter water tanker. But in some instances, water is water, it's fluid. So, you do have spillages that you are not able to measure as well. But thirdly, which is the biggest element of our challenge, is the fact that you have got these independent water supply tankers who themselves, in some instances, they would bulldoze their way into our water gantry and make sure that they collect water for themselves so that they can go and sell that water, because they are not contracted to us as a municipality. They have their own specific customers that pay them. But fourthly, which is probably the fourth element as well as, problematic as well, is the fact that some of the water, you have it in your inventory, but some of our people, because of these informal settlements, they will then plug into our bulk pipelines themselves. And how do you measure that? So the water inventory issue relates to the measurement of the water supply from our bulk sources, from our suppliers to our customers. So that is a matter I think that we have been qualified on. The second matter that we are qualified on relates to revenue, in that it's the issue of proving land ownership. The question was, do we own land as a municipality? And the answer was that most of the land is owned by rural development, but the stands on which people reside, they have cut that particular stand themselves or through traditional authorities. So again, there's an issue of ownership, in that who is supposed to be paying for property rates, who is supposed to be paying, for the land itself, if you like, So those are the systematic and historic challenges that we face as a municipality. And the question is, and it requires time. It needs real time, I must be honest. You've then made mention of the preliminary report, particularly on the directives that you have given and recommendations relating to Zakheni as a specific area within KwaMhlanga. We've done a lot, and I think we need to give you the specific report. And in fact, this particular report is located in our, let me just consult the technical services manager, Chair, if you so allow. What is that other report other than the WSDP? So
Commissioner, 30 minutes has already lapsed. Thanks.
So we also have a water conservation and demand management strategy, which also in the main emanated from the Zakheni area as a case study. I think what I can commit, given the time challenges, we will obviously give that detailed report. WSDP, water demand, water supply, water demand and supply, this one that the TM has referred to show you the extent to which we have dealt with the Zakheni problem. We've also looked into, trying to sort out the issue of Zakheni by connecting directly from our bulk supply area in KwaMhlanga straight into Zakheni, And this problem, again, you should go to Zakheni. You've been to Zakheni yourself, and you will realize that it's Diermekar, Hlanga. And obviously, as a result, pipe wamanzi, you will not know what leli lihamba la, lelo omunye wasifakela lona, omunye ufaka phezu kwelinye, and so on and so forth. It is a practical nightmare. You also have raised a question of high-lying areas, low-lying areas. I think logically, water gravitates. So if you are lying higher and there's no back pressure, those that will all the time benefit will be those communities that are in the low-lying areas, because naturally water will go down to the lowest point and then come up. So the fact that, you don't have consistent supply. So because with consistent supply, there will be back pressure. So it will go down to the lowest point, but once it's full, then it will gravitate. With back pressure, it will go upwards. But because when it gets there, we've not had water for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for whatever number of weeks, there will not be enough time for water to then fill up those lying areas and then go up accordingly. So those are some of the challenges I think that we've addressed in our WSDP, but also in our water conservation, a strategy that we have referred to above. And then finally, what is it that we're doing to formalize some of these areas? Well, I think we'll also show that there are quite a number of township establishment processes that we have embarked upon as a municipality, and I think we'll make a commitment that we'll also submit additional annexures to our report here, the number of townships that we have formalized as a municipality over the past 3 years. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thanks, Mr. Nkosi. I will move on to Commissioner Sibanyoni, and thereafter the Prof.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson. Mr. Nkosi, when I listen to your evidence,
Yes.
you paint a picture of your municipality reacting instead of in land management allocated by traditional leaders.
Yes.
And your municipality thereafter has to then provide services following settlements that have mushroomed because of the land that has been allocated by traditional leaders. And secondly, you spoke about getting water from Rand Water, which is in Gauteng province.
Yes.
And then you spoke about Moses River.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Moses River is in Limpopo.
No, it's in Bundu.
Bundu.
So yeah, it's on the border of ourselves and Limpopo. You are correct, but it's located within our
Within your
municipality.
area.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. I was thinking that when you talk about Moses River, you're already in Denelton.
No.
And then that it will be beyond that place called Mteti, which is Limpopo.
Yes. No, correct. So it's
Let me finish my
Okay,
question.
sorry, Chair.
Yeah, and then you spoke about the places like Sheldon.
Yes.
There are some, I would say, private sectors. I don't know whether I will pronounce the word correct. About Bajo, some big
Correct.
entities. And then is your municipality collecting revenue from those people who are conducting business there? And then maybe lastly, but don't tell your mayor. The question is your municipality in power insofar as rendering services? Because it would appear there are a lot of services that are moving forward and your municipality is following behind. Thank you, Chairperson.
So, Chair, can I just get that question properly from Commissioner Sibanyoni? You're saying, so are we in power when it comes to providing services? I don't
Yes.
follow. Maybe clarify or give an
Let
example.
me rephrase it to be fair to you. And then let me rephrase it. There is the 3 spheres of government.
Yes.
Regarding the challenges that is painted in your evidence, is your municipalities maybe tapping to the province as well as national government insofar as addressing the challenges that that I pick up in your evidence, Mr. Kwasi, to be fair.
Okay.
A fair question.
So, Chair, maybe let me start with the last one from Commissioner Sibanyoni. That issue of power relations, maybe I'll rephrase it like that, between ourselves and other sector departments, national, provincial, insofar as services are concerned. A classical example that I'll give, and I think maybe your thinking makes sense. So let's look at the issue of land management. Like I said, we don't own most of the land that is in our area of jurisdiction. The land is owned by rural development, agriculture, and public works, and so on. But when, for some reason, there is land invasion, which is, a commonplace in our municipality, the people that must respond to that, it's us. They sit there on top. They really do, well, I'm on record, but I need to be careful in terms of my words, my choice of words. But there is this sense that, sizazibona thina laphana, if there are people that occupy land, without that land being formalized, without that land being identified for residential purposes, the first thing that people will require will be water. We are the Water Services Authority. It will be demanded from us. But we don't have a right to the land. So the power relations there are unfair to us. So that is why you are correct that most of the time we'll be reacting. We take people to court. But part of what we need to prove in court is our local standing in relation to that particular piece of land. Why is it that we are the ones that are applying or are applying for an interdict against people occupying a particular piece of land? Who has the authority? So there are many challenges like that we can look at. Again, the issue of water supply. I think it also has historical challenges, dating pre-apartheid, yes. Because for such an area, I mean, the area, it's dry, it's quite sunny and very hot. So water evaporates easily and quickly. You are correct. We've got Moses River struggling from a municipality down to Limpopo. You are correct, because obviously it's not stagnant. But the problem is that in terms of water rights, again, you've got Loskop Dam, which, from a naked eye, it's always full. But most of the water rights have been given to private farmers versus municipalities. But the people on the ground demand water from us. The people will go to the streets, take to the streets and say the municipality is not delivering water. They will never say that the Department of Water and Sanitation has given more water rights to private farmers. Yes, we need the food. Yes, we need the farms and all of that, but there needs to be some kind of balance. So yes, you are correct. Your answer, your question is quite correct. These power relations have tilted negatively against us as smaller municipalities in particular. So let me just, come out of that trance, because I was just like now going into this mode of, being too political rather than, administrative. So the issue of reacting to issues of land, you are correct, Commissioner. Historically, like I said, we don't own the land. We don't have the rights to the land. But of course, in terms of the Municipal Systems Act and all other legislation, we are responsible for planning and development of our areas. So sometimes, we do follow, where people go. We don't plan. We just follow because, it's an everyday occurrence. Some of, our own learned people should make a case study out of Tembisile in terms of some of these challenges. Moses River, I've already indicated, particularly the Punduweya, where we've built our dam wall, and we have our infrastructure there. It's in our municipality, it's in Pundu, which is next to, you are correct, Muteti. Yeah, I think those are the questions. Thank you, Chairperson.
The private sector.
Oh yes, if we're collecting revenue from people such as Paxum Tombeni, who you said. So CFO, I'm not sure, Chair, but we do collect from Kwamhlanga, the formalized areas of Kwamhlanga and Tweefontein K, and then also from commercial areas, in our malls. Yeah, and some of the business people that we target, that's correct, yes. But it's only the 17% of revenue collection actually comprises of those people in the main. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
I have a few questions that part of them may have been asked. You'll just have to bear with us there. Page 301, the stats that you've given us there, are these stats authenticated? And if so, can they be corroborated by authority? I'm thinking out of the head. Stats SA, for instance, can vouch for some of these stats that you've given us, because there's quite a lot of indications there, but no referencing of a kind that would then provide authenticity. So that's the first part. The second part, as discussions were taking place and one needed to shift questions, was that does the municipality have an asset register? If so, is it updated as in or on this date, 28 September 2021? The third question is on the Loskop Dam access. You've identified the gravity of the problem in terms of access, but you're not telling us what mitigating responses, if there is, have you instituted to create a balance? And this comes at a phase in which already we've received complaint from at least a resident of your area that starting with issues of cooperation between residents and yourselves, the relationship seems to be a bit shaky. So the Loskop Dam issue, doesn't it sort of like increase the fires, as it were, the unhealthy relations between yourselves and some members of your community? The issue of cooperative governance, I think you've touched on it in passing. This may also include the involvement of private sector, which is noted. But in relation to, for instance, road fatalities on the dreadful Moloto Road, how far have you extended yourselves with other authorities, especially at the provincial level, to say from a water perspective, for instance, what kind of cooperative initiatives can be put forth to avoid fatalities, but also increase access to water, for instance? So the issue of water tycoons has been touched. The last one is there any case or cases of staff involvement on criminal matters, especially when it comes to issues of water provisioning? Thank you, Chair.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chairperson. No, Prof. Yeah, so the referencing, well, we can see we're talking to an academic. So these stats are taken directly from the 2016 community survey. So it's from Stats SA directly. So they are authenticated. Well, we've not referenced them, so I'm sure we'll be penalized with a mark there. So yeah, but definitely they are authenticated and they come directly from the census community survey of 2016. Then number two, Loskop Dam. So to the credit of Department of Water and Sanitation, I think they have heard our cry in that they have now recently, I think now in August, approved our water use license. So we have been given the license, the authority, to abstract about 20 megaliters of water from Loskop. So that matter is now being addressed. And then we also have submitted, requests to Department of Water and Sanitation as well as Human Settlement to implement the Loskop Dam water scheme, to be able to abstract these 20 megaliters of water. And indeed, we are pleased to also indicate that Department of Water and Sanitation has appointed Nkangala District Municipality to be the implementing agent of the project. So that particular project, we hope, will be underway, in a very short space of time. So there are measures that have been taken by ourselves, our executive mayor, the former honorable premier, the current honorable premier, and so on and so forth, to try and make sure that at least the Loskop Dam issue gets implementation, or it gets implemented by Department of Water and Sanitation. The prof has referred to unhealthy relationship with communities or with, so it's a little bit of a challenge because what we try and do, and we've got empirical evidence in that regard, we do communicate our challenges all the time. In actual fact, over the past year, we ensured that we were on radio, Ikwekwezi, which is, the main, the main radio station listened to by our people that side, where we give them the status of water supply and the challenges that we'll face every week. So every Friday, we provide that particular information. The executive mayor conducts community public participation activities and events in the entire area twice a year, in October, between October and November, and between March and April, where the executive mayor gives a detailed feedback report on the status of services. But in the main, most of our documents will deal a lot with issues of water. We also have a Facebook page, a formal Facebook page, where we share information around these challenges, particularly around issues of water. So I think if you look at the legislation, the relationship between us and the community, obviously it's a three-way relationship. You've got councillors, you've got administration, you've got council, administration, and then the community. And that relationship, I would like to view it in that particular light, not in terms of individual, interactions and so on and so forth. But insofar as legislation is concerned, we do account through our, councillors and executive to the communities on a regular basis. So that's I think what we do. And then with regards to the relationship we have with other sectors, to try and avoid fatalities within Muloto Road, because people need to cross, from one area to another to collect water. Firstly, I think we've got a very strong relationship with Sanral, who are also now in the process of improving that fatal Muloto Low Road, but also look at, the safety issues, walkways and other things within Muloto Road, just to make sure that the issues of safety are taken into consideration. I've already just indicated that we've got, this relationship with Department of Water and Sanitation to try and make sure that, we improve our water supply, situation. In fact, we must also credit the Department of Water and Sanitation, because over and above the Loskop Dam issue, they also allocate money to the municipality for us to be able to deal with, water challenges in water, to improve water infrastructure on a day-to-day basis, on a yearly basis. So we must be able to give, that credit, because they do a lot to ensure that, they give us additional allocation. I mean, just recently they've approved our request to buy 5 water tankers, 18,000 water tankers ourselves, to be able to at least move away from relying on external service providers for this kind of a supply. So there is that particular collaboration, I must indicate. And then the issue of criminal activities, particularly where our staff is involved in water tankers. It has been brought to our attention that There is great suspicion that some of our municipal officials and councillors actually own water tankers, and that is why the issue of water will never be, the problem of water will never be solved in our municipalities. An allegation we have always, all the time said, don't come to us, go to authorities, because we follow an open tendering process, what. We appoint people in the manner that they will have submitted their documentation and so on and so forth. So on paper, I don't think that there will be any evidence of any official being involved in that particular issue on paper. But we are not going to sit here and say that there might not be that involvement. It just needs to be tested. But also, I must indicate that if you look at the team that works with water in our municipality, the technical services manager is here. I've never seen people that don't rest like that. Every single day, you must go close, Vula there, close there, and so on and so forth, on a day-to-day basis. It would not make sense to me for some of these officials to be involved in criminal activities themselves for political reasons or for personal gain, because it is quite painful. Every single day, complaints on the cell phone, phone calls, and all of that will have to be about water and nothing else. So it's quite a serious nightmare in that particular regard. But having said that, I think it's a matter that we'd also like to place on record that authorities must be able to pay attention to this. When information comes to our disposal, we investigate. I mean, we also have a disciplinary board that is independent that we refer matters to investigate on our behalf. Thank you, Chairperson. I'd like to stop there.
Thanks, Mr. Nkosi. We did allow your presentation to go quite significantly above time
Yes.
and beyond time because of the importance of these issues that we have been deliberating on. Could we get an understanding of this notion of bulldozing
Okay.
by the independent suppliers that you mentioned? You said that part of the problem, the independent suppliers get the water from your water sources.
Correct.
And you are saying they bulldoze whoever is guarding that space to get the water. What action have you taken as a municipality to stop this?
Yeah. So that would have been the case in the past. And I think, like I said, probably it was part of my historical explanation of where we've come from, where in the past they would go to our country from as early as 5 a.m. to make sure that they are first in line to collect water. And you would get complaints from our officials to say that I can't go there because at some point, if I say no, but allow the municipal water tankers to go in first, people will threaten me, they will do all sorts of things, So what we've then done in the past, firstly, was for us to formalize this process of water collection. So we've closed the country, we've put up a proper palisade fence, we've put security in the area. We have said, let us all come in and make sure that there's order. Both the municipal trucks, the service providers appointed by the municipality, and the independent suppliers will be able to get water. So we've tried to build that kind of a relationship where there's open communication. But we've also had and continue to have several engagements with the independent suppliers. One, that they need to pay for the water. Also had and continue to have several engagements with the independent suppliers. One, that they need to pay for the water that they get from us. And two, that their water tankers need to be clean and orderly and in keeping with health protocols. But number three, they also need to make sure that they follow our rules of engagement in that particular area of work. So over the past couple of years, we think that there has been order, except in the past 2 weeks or so, we had a situation where one community had not had water for close to 3, 4, 5 weeks in an area called Tweefontein N, and they decided to go and block the water tankers from our country, and to the extent that they damaged even our country. We could not get water there for about 2 or 3 days. But yeah, those are the steps that we've taken, Chair. Sorry, I digressed.
So you're selling this water to the independent?
They are not
wa-
paying yet. We intend to sell, they are not paying.
Wait a minute.
They are willing to pay, but they are not paying yet. It's a nightmare there.
Mr. Ngosi,
Yes, the chair.
how long has this been going on for?
Sure. The independent collection of water?
Yes.
No. Well, I've been with the municipality since 2015. So it has been going on since then and prior to that.
So since 2015, this then makes it the 7th year.
Yes.
These people have been taking water from your source,
Yes.
which
Selling
is
it.
limited already.
Correct.
You are not making them pay. As you sit there, they are still not paying, but you are telling us that you've got a problem with the sufficient availability of this scarce resource.
Yes.
And they in turn they are taking it for free from you, and they are
Selling
selling it to a community which you are telling us that almost most of these community members do not work.
Correct.
How is this okay?
It's not okay. So let's present another problem. We are also supplying water to almost 112 households. I'm saying the payment of services in the municipality is a problem. So I'm not saying it's okay. The difficult, Chairperson, will be we have put a stop to it once or twice. It gets violent. It does get violent.
What do you mean it gets violent, and have you approached the relevant authorities?
We'll open criminal cases and all of that, but we've chosen, at least over the past 3 years, like I said, to take the ground of collaboration. Maybe we're wrong, but that is what we've done so far. And I think with that approach, there's relative peace.
Mr. Nkosi,
Yeah.
do you have proof of the cases that you've opened?
Yeah, way back since I think 2016, 17, somewhere there. Yes, we've opened criminal cases. Yes.
We would like proof of those cases and how far they've gone.
Okay.
Following to that, what do you mean by you've taken a collaborative approach? The independent suppliers are private business.
Yes.
They are taking a state resource that is scarce and selling it to a poor community. So what does collaboration in this situation mean in relation to the fact that you are saying if we don't do this, there are violent repercussions?
Yes.
You have cordoned off the gantry, and so in order for these private sector individuals and groupings
Yes.
to access this space,
Yes.
it has to be through this collaboration that you are mentioning.
Yes.
So it is with your authority that they are accessing the scarce resource that you don't have the means to provide for free, and you're supposed to provide for free to the community.
Yes.
Could you explain what that means?
So, like I'm saying, the problem is we've had to make a choice. We are unable to reach all the corners of Tembisile with regards to water supply. Prior to my time as accounting officer, and probably since time immemorial, maybe Commissioner Sbanyoni can also explain much better. This issue of water supply by the private water tankers has been there. If you go to the area, probably, one of the, and I saw the media caption where they are referring to the water supply business people as tycoons or water tycoons. I think that's the term that they now have, that they now have. It's historic. It's something that has been happening since whenever. Because I said the municipality does not have its own water source. So we are limited. And maybe the question will be, but to what extent are you complying with the Water Act, as it were? But the resources that we have and the demand, they are not commensurate. We are not able to reach all the corners. So in our thinking and, rational, we are saying, so these private water tankers are also an extension, if you like, of this particular service. Because otherwise, it will mean that we'll have to overstretch ourselves. We can't do that. So we then said, all right, we'll allow you. We'll have a collaborative effort, like I said. It's municipal water tankers first, it's municipal appointed service providers, and it's the independent water supply service providers, right? So we all must provide this particular service. These ones, remember, we're paying the municipal private, the service providers, but we're not paying the independent ones. So they are getting their money from the residents that they are selling to. We have met with them to say, but we'd like to get some money out of you because we're paying for this water from Rand Water. They said, no, we're willing to do that, but we feel that we're disadvantaged. Why are you paying these ones that are also independent private service providers like us, but you're not paying us? So there is that kind of a predicament. So I think that's how I can explain this particular challenge.
Mr. Nkosi,
Yes.
our time with you is up, but there are so many more follow-up questions
Yes.
on this matter. The provincial manager of Free State does have a burning question, and I would allow it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. Thank you, Chair. I just want to know, what do you need to be able to supply water in areas that you are in? What is it that you need as a municipality? Because we want to cut that chain. That historic issue of private water suppliers,
Yes.
that you are saying it's historic, it needs to stop
Yes.
at some point. So what do you need to increase the capacity of the municipality to be able to provide this service? Because it's your primary responsibility.
Sure.
What do you need? What resources? What kind of resources do you need?
So we can, is that fine?
Yes.
So I said, the demand is, I think it's 57 actually, not 73. Is it 73 or 57 megaliters? Okay, so the demand is much higher than the supply. In order for us to provide acceptable, to provide 73 megaliters of water per day, it means we need the source. So Loskop Dam is only going to give us 20 megaliters of water per day. We need an amount of close to 900 million, according to the estimates done by consultants and so on, through Department of Human Settlement. We need 900 million to do Loskop Dam. So that's number one. Then you add 20 megaliters of water. In Moses River, over the past 3 to 5 years, we've already spent close to 200 million or so to get close to 200 million, yes, 187 million or something like that, to get 5 megaliters of water with the pipeline, with the pressure pumps, with the storage capacities, and so on and so forth. So in short, you can do the math. We probably, so if we are getting currently close to 43 megaliters of water per day, it means there's an additional 35 megaliters of water that we're running short of. So if we're getting 20 from land, we will get 20 megaliters of water from rainwater, with an estimated amount of 900 million. We've already spent 200 million, 187 million. So yeah, we need financial resources, in short, and the source, and the availability of the source. Because you can have the money, but if there's no source, and if there's no right, then the matter doesn't go any further. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Ngosi. We will engage with you further following this presentation on some of these outstanding issues. There are significant gaps
Yes.
in some of your responses. I do just want to make this point, which is also important. The prof asked you about the stats and the verification of the stats, and you mentioned that you got the stats from the 2016 community survey.
Yes.
Now, these statistics refer to people's lives.
Yes.
The child or the children who were in grade 2 in 2016 are now in high school, entering high school, which means that when you put a percentage here to say so many people have primary school education, these stats are wrong already. The people who went in tertiary in 2016 have long qualified. These statistics are completely invalid and they should not be part of this package. That is the point that I wanted to make. The last point, in all fairness to you,
Yes.
Lamin, there's a problem in South Africa that was created by colonial and apartheid governments, which is the problem of the former homelands.
Yes.
Now, there is a bigger problem in South Africa, which was created in the post-apartheid era, which is then the problem of resolving this issue. Your municipality is not alone in this tension between traditional authorities and municipalities.
Yes.
There is a standing question about what does it mean to be a traditional leader. Bathi mabebuza bathi inkosi iyinkosi ngabantu noma inkosi iyinkosi ngomhlaba. The answer to that question in many ways has been perverted, because we know that inkosi inginkosi ngabantu. The land belongs to the people,
The people, yes.
and not the other way around. When you manipulate that relationship, then you end up with some of the problems that you have, where traditional leaders feel that they own the land, and when they own the land, they sell it to people because that allocation is commodified.
Yes.
They are selling the land
Correct.
and they pocket that money. So this is to say that we understand that situation and it needs to be solved outside of the municipality. With that, Mr. Nkosi, we'd like to thank you for your time.
But can I say something, Chair? No.
You will be able to say something. I will give you the opportunity to make closing remarks.
Okay.
We'd like to thank you for your time, Mr. Nkosi. We appreciate your presentation. Thank you to your colleagues as well for attending this inquiry. Our report writer is making notes, not only of your presentation, but also of our questions to you. Some you have answered adequately, some there are still follow-ups.
Sure.
And in the process of us developing our report, we are going to need then to engage in those further questions. The floor is now yours to make your concluding remarks.
No, Chair, just two things. Well, I take.
Before you come in, Commissioner Sibanyoni has some.
If you can answer it now, you do it in writing.
Yes.
You speak up until matric
Yes.
level, but there is a university.
In MPUMALANGA, yeah,
In
in our
MPUMALANGA,
area
yeah.
as well.
You
and
never
Dr.
said
Jess
anything
Morocco.
about it. So the question will be, do the youth go up until matric, or they proceed beyond matric to the university, utilizing that campus, which is in
Sabos.
that area?
It's in Dr. Jess Morocco, by the way.
You may answer it to save time in writing.
Okay, sure. No, so Chair, just one thing I wanted to, two things. The issue of traditional authorities, I'm glad with your summary. I think I won't want to spoil the summary. Spot on. I agree with it 100%. But the issue of the stats, so we obviously do IDPs and so on and so forth, but our source of information is always authenticated information from Stats SA. Unless I've missed it, I've not seen the 2021, statistics information. So the predicament is, how then do I go back and look at, the stats that would have been authenticated if I don't have the authority to look at education? It's not, our responsibility, economic makeup, and so on and so forth. There is that particular predicament. Although, we do get provincial information from a Department of, the debt, economic development, and finance, but they also refer to Stats SA. That's just the predicament I'd have, and would obviously gladly, like to have recommendations in that regard. Thanks. Yeah.
Dlamini, thank you so
So-
much for your time, sir. We certainly will be in touch with you. This is not the end of our engagements. Thank you very much for your time, to you and your team. It is now 12:37. We are running significantly behind schedule. The PM does want to whisper in my ear. Our lunch time, or our lunch, is ready. Because we are running I'm tempted to propose that we take a 5-minute break instead, just to stretch our legs, come back, take the next presentation. And come back, take one presentation, and thereafter take lunch. Thank you very much. It is now 12:38. Let us come back at 12:45, 12:43. Thank you.
every team has just all come here. You know, so every team has just all come here, right?
Yes.
And then, so the swearing in would be to say, shall you please indicate your names and positions for the record?
Yes.
Welcome back. Sawubona Puti.
Angazi re-on
Ishai.
or sanibonani.
Will you be joined by your team? Or will you?
Yes, I have the CFO, the technical director, and water manager.
If they will be assisting you, perhaps maybe to save time, they might want to be sworn in with you,
Okay,
and therefore they might want to come to the front as well.
okay. Thank you very much. Yabona ukuthandaza kuyasiza.
We are still social distancing.
You know, we've got the same virus, so I start telling
Welcome, colleagues. I will now hand over to Commissioner Sibanyoni to administer the oath.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good day.
Good day.
There are two ways of administering the oath before a person gives evidence. So first of all, we check whether is there anyone amongst the three of you who's got an objection towards taking the prescribed oath. On the extreme left, do you have any objection?
No, I don't.
No objection. In the middle?
No.
Extreme right? No objection. So let us start with you say in the middle. For record purpose, can you state your full names? In other words, names and surname and the occupation that you are occupying.
Humphrey Sizwe Maisela, the municipal manager of Emalahleni local municipality.
And then on the extreme left, your full names and the position that you are occupying.
Mike Wakalelaka, I am the executive director responsible for technical services within the municipality.
All right. Lady, check whether your microphone is on. Just check the button there. Right. It's on now.
Yeah, it's on.
Right. Your full names for record purposes.
My name is Jabulile Precious Tlachwayo. I'm the CFO, acting CFO of Emalahleni Local Municipality.
Right. I'm going to speak and then you will be speaking this at the same time, all of you. Do you swear that the evidence that you will lead shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If that is the case, all of you raise your right hands and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Julie sworn in, Chairperson.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Sibanyoni. Mr. Malisela, the time is now 12:51. You will have 25 minutes to offer your presentation, and thereafter the panel will engage with you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and greetings to the commissioners and the staff and the colleagues from other municipalities. As we have already indicated, we are from Emalahleni local municipality. Emalahleni local municipality is situated in the southern part of Highveld region. It is bordered by both Gauteng and some parts are bordered by some portions of Limpopo province. We are also indicating in terms of our presentation of the population of Emalahleni municipality, which is on page 362. We are using the community survey of 2016 as the previous municipality of Tembisile, because those are the stats that we are relying on, although sometimes from time to time we do indicate on our own estimates using our own assessments in terms of when we do our own surveys in the municipality to say probably now the municipality is standing at what numbers in terms of population. In terms of the community survey, the population of Emalahleni increased from 466,000 in 2011 to 455,228 people in 2016. Emalahleni is the third largest population in the province, and also comprises or make up 31.5% of the total population in the Nkangala district. The growth in the municipality, it was about 59,762 people who migrated to the city or some were newly born. And the migration, of course, is caused by the city of Emalahleni or the area of Emalahleni being the mining town and where the power stations of the country are located. So many people migrate to the city with the expectation that they will get some employment. Actually, Emalahleni has become what we call the Puta di Chaba of MPUMALANGA, because I think every city in MPUMALANGA has got people who are living in Emalahleni. That can be seen in terms of even of the informal settlements that come up there. You know, in Emalahleni we've got an informal settlement called, for example, Ligazi. Ligazi is a township here in Nelspruit. So now we have such an informal settlement in Emalahleni. The estimated population for Emalahleni by the year 2030 is expected to be about 700,000. And this, of course, will put a huge pressure in the infrastructure of the municipality. Already the infrastructure of the municipality is under pressure due to the exponential growth of the population of the municipality. The estimated population that is living in these informal settlement and backrooms, it's about 10,000. But when we did our surveys as a municipality in terms of checking the housing backlog, we found that at least it's about 34,000 housing backlog that we are experiencing as Emalahleni municipality. We provide water to the urban centers of Emalahleni, but in the farming areas of Emalahleni, we use water tankers, and then in some of these informal settlements, we are also using tankers, water tankers. And in some of these settlements, of course, we have what we call community stand-up pipes, where people can just access water. And the tankering system is costing the municipality about 800,000 a month, and we are not recovering any cent for these services. The migration of the population or of the people to Emalahleni has caused a very serious strain on water, sanitation, and electricity, and the roads, which is causing us a lot of problems. It's not only the migration of people that is causing a strain on our infrastructure. As we know, Emalahleni is a mining town itself. The trucks that are traversing our roads are causing a lot of problems in terms of our road infrastructure. So our roads are under pressure to accommodate these trucks that are traversing our roads. The municipality experienced the closure of a certain key industries For example, the Highveld Steel, which was one of the biggest steel producer in South Africa, and with some special steel producing plants in South Africa. For example, the steel mill, which was only produced in Highveld, and no other industrial or steel industry had that capacity. So when it closed, Highveld Steel, it affected a lot of households and created a lot of unemployment in and around Emalahleni. When I'm talking about Emalahleni, I'm also referring to Granala, which was Kriel, and also at Ochis with the townships there, which are Tobelihle and Paula. On the same page 362, we are listing the towns and villages in Emalahleni. Those are the main towns, that the Emalahleni with a small e, which refers to the city of Witbank. And then we've got Ochis and Paula. We've got Granala, which was Kriel and Tobelihle. We've got the Ritzspruit. We've got Van Dyck's Drift and Verge. But on Annex A, we are also indicating the demographic composition of the municipality. And on 363, page 363, we are indicating the services that are rendered by the municipality. We provide electricity, water, sanitation services, solid waste collection and disposal thereof, roads and stormwater. We are also providing other services like library services and all that. Excuse me, our technical services is providing our electrical services, water, roads, stormwater, and 363 indicating the services that are rendered in the various areas of Emalahleni. We are indicating that we are providing the water, sanitation, electricity, roads, and stormwater. And then on page 364, we are indicating the level of service versus the population or the households. We are indicating the pipe water inside the dwelling, which we are doing that to about 94,344 households. And then pipe water inside the yards, which is about 26,190. Pipe water distance of almost 200 meters or so. It's about 23,000 households. Those are the communal standpipes that I talked about. And then pipe water, or maybe through the JoJo tanks. And then pipe water distances of more than 200 meters. It's about 13,000. And then we are also indicating 111,000 households. And then those that are using ventilated improved pit latrines, it's about 33,000. And then those without VIPs or ventilated VIP, it's about 13,000. And most of these are in around informal settlements. I must also indicate that the municipality, as like Emalahleni, we had these people who were staying next to the mining areas. And as the mines want to mine more areas, then these people were moved and they formed their own communities, which is a daily occurrence in a city like Emalahleni. And then these people become a community and then or an informal settlement. I must also indicate that historically, when the mines started to demolish their mining villages, because we had mining villages, what they did, they would offer